Hola chicos, the question is, why should you study Spanish at senior cycle? Before you even think about the leaving cert, remember that the language is spoken in all of these countries, most of South America, Central America, Mexico, most of the Caribbean and Spain. Great language to have if ever you want to travel to these countries. Even if you don't want to travel to them, people from those countries live all over the world, and it's great to have that language up your sleeve to be able to communicate with them properly. If you do go to these places, which hopefully you do get to, you'll be treated more as a guest than a tourist if you have a good grasp of the language, and you have a much better chance of making long-lasting relationships and friendships if, again, you don't just arrive speaking English, wanting everyone to accommodate you. You arrive with a good level of Spanish. People appreciate when you make that effort. If you like learning languages, Spanish is a great jumping off point for learning Italian, French, Portuguese and Romanian. Apologies if I didn't get Romanian right. Google Translate told me that was a Romanian word for Romanian. All of these languages share a lot of DNA, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Spanish is definitely the easiest of the five to learn. So if you ever wanted to learn any of the rest of these in the future for work or for other reasons, Spanish is a great jumping off point. So, real quick note on the leaving and junior cert. What is the same between the two of them? Well, from my perspective, a huge core of the leaving cert is all of the stuff you've seen from first, second and third year. You'll spend plenty of time in the leaving cert talking about your pastimes and sports, your holidays, food, the weather and school, all the things you've learned in junior cycle. If you've done a good job on learning them, that will be a huge boost to doing well in 5th and 6th year. And really all what you're doing, which is a lot of the time in 5th and 6th year, what you're doing is expanding on those themes you've already seen a million times. What's different? You definitely have more advanced grammar to deal with and more tenses. That's just a little extra work you'll have to get used to doing. You've more writing to do in the leaving cert. In the junior cert, you mostly write about yourself and your own pastimes and holidays and your family and your friends and things. In the leaving cert, you'll have to write about more social issues. So one thing that's totally missing from the junior cert is an essay question. This essay will be about social things like drink or drugs or pollution or the environment. So that is more complicated, but as you can see in these brackets here, it's only 150 words. So it's an essay question, but it's not pages and pages and pages of an essay question. It's only 3 paragraphs in reality. While you're still looking at pastimes, sports, holidays, food, all of those junior cert subjects, you're looking at all of them again. 2 things that are different are the last 2 chapters of the book, El Mundo del Trabajo, the world of work, and La Sociedad y el Mundo is society and the world. Those last 2 chapters are about more advanced themes, working, gaining experience, what kind of job you want in the future, and social problems, again, drink, drugs, violence, the environment, and all that kind of stuff. While that is more advanced, bear in mind that the last 2 chapters of the book, it's not as if you spend all of 5th and 6th year talking about these more complicated subjects. You're very likely only going to see these in the second half of 6th year. So it's not as if the whole 2 years are dominated by complicated material. It's mostly the same with something a bit more advanced towards the end. If you go to examinations.ie and have a look at a leaving cert paper, you'll see that the writing, while there's more of it and it's more complicated, these 2 questions here I'll mention, the diary entry and the note, they should look very achievable even to a 3rd year student at the minute. If you have a look through what's needed to be written there, it's not that much more complicated than the junior cert was, I think anyway. So there you are. Why should you study Spanish? It's relatively easy. It is fun, hopefully. A really good way of revising grammar and vocabulary is to play games. So, you always try to spend some class time taking the edge off all the grammar by playing a few games, and it really isn't just for fun, it's also a very good way to revise and to learn grammar and vocabulary. So there you go. Hopefully that made the case for Spanish, and hopefully this was useful to you.